Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Temple Talk, recorded on the 4th of June 2024. My name is Evonne Wildheart, mother, soul alchemist, astrologer, and founder, teacher, and space holder of the Invoking Inanna journey through the Underworld. Temple Talk was set up about 4 years ago. We haven't done many episodes and I hope to do more. But Temple Talk's about sharing the gifts of the Invoking Inanna journey and the goddess, the descent and the ascent of the often taboo underworld. We speak to our experience of this profound and sacred work and to spread the word of the importance of deep metamorphosis of shadow work. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Kat Thomson, who is a 2-time journey heart through the Invoking Inanna journey. She talks about her life-changing and life-giving experiences of this journey. And if you enjoy what you're listening to, please comment, let us know what you like about it. Share your experience if you've done an underworld journey, a conscious underworld. I mean, we've all done underworld journeys, right? This is a part of the growth. But if you've done an experience like this, please share what you think of it. And if you really like what you're hearing, please like, thumbs up, and share this podcast out to your community so we can spread the word of the importance of this work. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. And here is episode 4 of Temple Talk. The 4th of June 2024, and we're going to be talking about the Invoking Inanna journey and what it means and what it is. Kat has just finished her second journey of this, so I'm very excited to hear what her experience of this journey is. But first of all, we're going to start with doing an invocation, is what we always do at the beginning of every circle we do. So I invite you maybe just to, I don't know, close your eyes and taking a deep breath and bringing your shoulders up and back and just open your heart open, chest open, and just deep breathing, just bringing ourselves back into our bodies. And out, and breathing in again, and out, and breathing in again. And before I do an invocation, I just really want to acknowledge all the members of our Inanna community who have done this journey. I want to thank our family and our loved ones, for all those who we do this work for, and for our teachers and our ancestors, past, present, and emerging, of our lineage and that of this land. And I just want to make a special mention to my teacher, Hardwick Collins, who first introduced me to this work, and I am deeply grateful for Jane's work with the School of Shamanic Womancraft. So, to begin with, we will light our candle. And as we call on the goddess Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth, we ask for your guidance, nurturing, love, support, and protection. We are listening. We call on the goddess Yarishkagal, the queen of the underworld. We ask for your guidance, nurturing, love, support, and protection. We are listening. We call on the well-and-healed ancestors, the ancient wise beings, both human and more than human. We ask for your guidance, nurturing, love, support, and protection. We are listening. We call on the divine feminine within each of us, the inner knowing within each of us, feminine wisdom, courage, and strength. We call on the women who have gone before us, mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, wise women, sisters, all be with us. Remind us to trust the death and birth process. Remind us to trust life and to surrender our fears and worries. Remind us to trust the ways of the underworld. Remind us to simply be with what is our awesome selves, powerful, creative, yielding and wielding. We give great thanks for peace, love, fun, joy, and harmony. We give great thanks for safety, strength, insight, and trust. We give great thanks for the healed and loving sisterhood, and for connection with all, and for open and loving hearts. And we acknowledge the Indigenous elders, past, present, emerging from all the lands in which we sit on and walk on. And we acknowledge our own indigeneity, our own ancestors, past, present, emerging from the lands from which they lay on and walk on and sit on. We are listening. Blessed be. And so to begin with, and how we begin with each Inanna journey, the preparation. From the great above, she opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, the goddess opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, Inanna opened her ear to the great below. And that's how we begin. We begin this journey to the call, to the listening, to the call to go in, to sit with our inner selves, our true essence, which I feel is the dark goddess. So welcome, Kat. How exciting that you're here to share with your experience of the Invoking Inanna journey. So just give a little background of what Inanna is and what it is. And Inanna, the myth of Inanna, is an ancient, very old, one of the oldest goddess stories of the descent and the ascent, the journey to the underworld. So first of all, Inanna is the queen of heaven and earth, and she hears the call of her dark goddess sister to go and visit her, to attend the funeral rites of her husband. But to get there, she has to enter the underworld. But to do that, she has to go through 7 gates going down, and each gate she has to let go of something. Only when she's let go of everything can she enter her dark goddess sister Ereshkigal's throne room. She enters bowed low, naked. And from there, Ereshkigal fastens the eye of death on Inanna and hangs her on a meat hook for 3 days and 3 nights. And while Inanna is in the underworld, Nishnaba, that has a loyal maiden to Inanna, goes off and seeks counsel, to seek help from Inanna's fathers. And Father Inky helps her by sending these 2 fly-like creatures down through the underworld to sprinkle the food and water of life on Inanna's corpse. But before that, they have to sit with Ereshkigal to feel her pains and to empathize with Inanna, to acknowledge her ouchisness, her pains as she's given birth, and Ereshkigal is given birth in the underworld. Just like Inanna is, when we dissolve into all and nothing, we are recreating ourselves anew. And when the food and water of life is given to Inanna, she rises, and then she ascends, going back through the 7 gates, reclaiming who she is, reclaiming her crown and her royalty, to come up stronger and more wise than she ever has before. So that is the myth of Inanna in a very brief summary. And the Invoking Inanna journey follows this myth, that we spend 5 months doing that journey of going down to the very core essence of who we are, the dark goddess part of ourselves, to sit with the all and nothingness, to dissolve just like a butterfly does, going from a caterpillar to a butterfly, to re-emerge more in our bodies and more sure of ourselves than we ever have before, really starting to step into who we really are and what we've come here to do without all the programming. It really feels like a deprogramming exercise. Yeah. Okay, so that is the Invoking Inanna journey before we start. And Kat has done it twice.
I have.
So I just want to ask you, Kat, what called you to this journey?
Well, I think Inanna found me quite a few years before I knew who she was. In like low periods of my life, in the depths of despair, when I was kind of on my knees crying in the darkness. I had these images of me being in a cave, naked, kind of crying, and just being stripped bare. And, in those low moments of life when you're really just asking the powers that be, if there's more, those images were really powerful for me. And then I was actually in a program by Julie Tenner, and she shared the myth of Inanna, and I was like, oh, that's what it is. And I really, really related to this idea of kind of stepping through each gate down into the underworld, and at a gate having to kind of not having to, choosing to release a part of you that no longer served. And then being in the underworld and kind of the idea of just being really stripped bare and getting to choose who you wanted to be, or really tapping into the life that you are here to live, or that you desire. And then that process of ascent and being able to intentionally reclaim the things that are most important to you. And then I came to your house for a drum making workshop, and
with Tash,
you started telling me about this. That's right, with Tash. And started talking about this other program that you run, and I was like, oh, I know that name. And we started talking about it, and then actually the last morning we were at Evonne's wonderful home that she invites us into. I had just popped outside and was thinking about whether I would want to join this Inanna program, and up right above me was Bunjil, eagle, soaring round. I get goosebumps thinking about it now. And I came back in, and I think you guys were just sitting around the table talking, saying, oh, we're going to journey with Bunjil Eagle on our next journey. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're never going to guess what just happened to me. And so that was that. So I didn't really actually overthink. I didn't really understand what the program or the journey was about. I just really listened to the call, because it was a strong, big one. And yeah, I went for it, and I haven't looked back.
So cool. And it really is, like, for me as well, it was like a summoning. It's like it's more, it was more than a call. It's like you're being summoned to do this journey. Like, and it's so wild to even, you can't even put it on words to what that actually is. But if you hear the call, or you're like, oh my God, there's evidence there and there's evidence there, and you just like feel like you're being, the energy is sort of pushing you towards, this process. Like, you can't deny it. It's quite wild, isn't it? It's like a real summoning. If you hear the call and you don't do it, it will just come back stronger and stronger again until you actually take it. It's really incredible as it does that. And I'm sure that there's lots of women out there who have done the Invoking Inanna journey who would say the same thing. It's a calling to do this. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think like the following of the breadcrumbs, or following the nudges from within, like, it's just such an invitation to get out of your head and just go, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah,
I'm going to follow them. I'm going to trust that I have been called, and I'm going to give this a go, knowing that I have no idea what's on the other side.
absolutely. And it's so funny that you say that word trust, because every circle, when we have, so we usually start off with the grounding and invocation, and we have a teaching, and then we have a talking bowl circle, and we talk about our experience for the week and what showed up for us and stuff like that. But at the end of every circle of our talking bowl, we always say, quiet, Inanna, the ways of the underworld are perfect, they may not be questioned. And how much that gets etched into your mind, and then you're sort of, there's a whole, it feels like there's a whole reprogramming happening on trusting the process, and trusting where you're guided, and trusting what's showing up for you to work. It's like really opening yourselves up to the energies of the goddess, and allowing her to show you where you need to go and what you need to see for the greater good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, like, I think my first a way to really understand that before I'd experienced it at that level was, it was kind of getting out of my masculine linear head thinking logic behind it all, and just having the opportunity to dive in and be led. And it didn't have to make sense, but it actually always makes sense in the end. It's just that it's not always a direct straight line. It's that kind of more feminine, circular, spiral flow, and it does all make sense in the end. And that's really one of the big takeaways that I took from doing the journey, for sure.
Absolutely. It's good. It's really incredible just how that tangible magic shows up in that way. Yeah, you can't even describe it, because it's just one of those things you have to. And those who know and experience the goddess coming into their lives and being guided by it, it's a thing that you have to experience, as opposed to hearing about it, because you don't know until you know.
Yeah, and the other, when the doubt creeps in, being in that sisterhood, in the close circle, you're meeting every week and meeting online for circle every week. So you really do. That was actually a fear of mine, is that I get very nervous about, it's that wounded sisterhood that comes through. I get nervous about being in kind of an intimate group with other women in that way. But you and Ellie Riverstar hold that and facilitate that space so well, so strongly. And you're journeying with us as well. So it really is a circle, not that hierarchical, masculine way, but we're showing up every week, and the themes are all woven through us in at the same time. And that reinforcement every week of, we're all kind of going through very similar things in our own lives, but the theme is the same, like that weekly reinforcement of the magic is real, has really built my trust muscle, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting, especially in the last journey. We had Astrid up in New South Wales, and we had Alan in Adelaide. Like, we were sort of quite spread out geographically, but just how tangible the magic was in that circle of shaman, that every time we did show up in circle each week, there was a theme that ran through us all. And it's just like, even though we, were doing our own lives, and it was still there and so present in that circle, that we would all come together, and you'd be listening to each of us talking and be like, oh my God, my sister speaks for me. How many times did we say that for this particular journey of the Kookaburra? My sister speaks for me. It was so strong. And I think what this journey, and how this journey differs from other journeys, is that we meet week after weeks for 7-8 weeks, and then we have 3 weeks off, and then we do another 7 weeks up. But in between the circles, we're living our lives. It's like that really chop wood, carry water process, that we're learning to weave what we're doing into our everyday mundane life, which makes it, I feel, the deep rootedness of this journey holds. So you not only for each other in our little circle each week, but we're doing it every day, every moment of the day. It really is a 5-month ritual. That's what it is.
Yeah, it really is. And just going back to the, when my sister speaks for me, by hearing everybody share how it's showing up in their lives and how they're experiencing it, that kind of unlocks like it in different ways for yourself. And so I feel like in terms of transformation, my transformation is so much greater. And I don't want to use the word efficient, but like it happens so much more naturally when other people say it in a different way, or they've experienced it in a different real life lived experience, and then they share that and you're like, oh, I wouldn't have got that if I'd just been doing this myself, because I didn't have that lens to look through. Yeah, that's one of the most powerful parts of the journey for 5 months, for sure.
Absolutely. It's like the faces of the goddess, that we're all showing up as one sort of energy entity, but we're all bringing different aspects to that face. I love it. It's so good. That's why, this will be the next journey, which is starting on June the 17th, guided by a mama bear, will be our 10th journey through the underworld. It's quite incredible. And each journey, it's just getting stronger and stronger. It's like the magic is so palpable. It's really, it's so cool. It's so cool. All right. So Kat, I've got a question for you. Who is Inanna to you?
Mm. This is such a good question. Inanna to me is my truest self. It's like the part of me that hasn't picked up baggage from someone else, isn't carrying all those wounds. Like she is my true essence that perhaps I don't, it's like she knows me better than I know myself. And she's at the same time, in terms of feeling like she's like a separate.
Oh, I think we've lost Kat.
This separate.
You're freezing, mate. Here we go.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Here we go. You're on.
We're good to keep going?
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Okay.
Right now. There we go.
She's because she's this like going into the underworld, and so I just feel safe with her because she's so.
I think we're having some technical troubles.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So we just lost a little bit of chunk of that. Just talking about just who Inanna is, and just what we caught was that she's an aspect to yourself, who knows you more than you know yourself. You feel safe with her.
So brave, courageous.
Mm.
Yeah, I think just that idea that you sorry, the Zoom just dropped out.
Yes, no, that's okay.
The idea that everyone tells her, if you go to the underworld, nobody's
never survived the underworld. Like if you go there, you're not coming back. She's like, well, I'm going anyway. And then she does.
I know, she does. Yeah, Inanna's warned by her fathers to say, no one returns from the underworld. And they think that she's mad for going down there to visit Yerishka Girl. But she does it anyway, because she's hearing the call. This call is so strong for her to go. She's the queen of heaven and earth. She sees herself as untouchable going down, and she goes down in sovereignty. But it's so interesting that when we do this journey, it's really acknowledging that we already have the gifts within us. It's not something that, it's like we've got them already, and we're actually got to go down to Yerishka Gal, to the dark goddess aspect of ourselves, our true inner core of who we are, to rediscover or to reawaken these aspects that we've forgotten about or been deprogrammed out of it.
Yeah, and for me, I think the fact that journeying in a group, there are aspects of myself that I don't feel safe to be anymore. And so by going through it in the group and being held so well by you and Ellie, that's what I learned to do. I learned to hold that fear and terror that genuinely can come up when I choose to sit with a part of myself that I want. For example, I have just this morning I have signed up to have piano lessons again. But the desire to have music in my life again, that used to be so important to me growing up, that felt really scary to ask for that, and to speak with my family and say, this is something that I really want to do. And what I've learned through that process is that, sure, these are parts of myself that I might have forgotten or that I didn't know existed. but being able to hold myself and love myself enough through the vulnerability of kind of claiming these desires or claiming these strengths, or the shadow parts of myself, you know, anger or real grief that comes through, learning how to hold myself through that because I'm being so well held by all of you. For me, it has been, I guess, something that I hadn't experienced before. So that's, I mean, that's life-changing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can do anything now. If I can hold myself through those, I can hold myself through anything.
And I love the encouragement of the sisterhood. You know, like if someone's going, yeah, I want to go off and do piano lessons, or I want to go off, like I just started hockey for the first time in 25 years. I feel crazy, but it, you know, it's something that it feels very brave. And I don't think I would have done that without the sisterhood behind me to champion each other on, you know, this place that we hold each other in so much love, because you journey with each other for 5 months, like very quite intense journeying and meeting week after week after week after week and developing these strong relationships and connections. It just feels so powerful to know that the sisterhood's got your back.
Yeah, we go through life so alone in this culture. So it's really nice to kind of have that for, you know, the 5 months, and just, and it's not just the 5 months, because you are then part of the greater Inanna community, and you always just feel welcomed with that group. And I haven't met most of them, but I know that through just being in that container with them, that I will be held, I will be seen, I will be heard, and yeah, it's just a really nice village to be a part of, that's for sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. I love what we have. I feel so blessed to have what we have. You know, and we're not meant to be doing this alone. This is the thing. We're not meant to be journeying through life as we're mammals that, you know, journey together. And again, it's that culture that has taught us and pushed us and separated us and divided us, that conquer and divide. That's not going to cut it anymore. We can't do that anymore. We're moving, you know, Pluto going through Aquarius, it's teaching us we've got to come together and work as a community and feel the love and holding from community that's here for everyone if they choose to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
next
it's
question.
the only thing I turn to every week, where like you've had a long day and you're tired and you're like, oh, you know what, I really don't feel like showing up online on a computer right now. And it's like, it's the one thing that I never regret. There's not a minute that isn't worthwhile.
Well, how's that experience? How is it journeying on a computer, on the Zoom? You know, does it work compared to, you know, say a face-to-face? Because I know a lot of people have that reservation. It's like, oh, it's online. I don't know about online, blah, blah. What's your experience of the journey being online?
The only part that I don't like is like being at a computer.
Yeah.
But as once we ground in, it is like we're in the same room a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot, because together you've tapped into the magic and the portal. One of the great things is that you can show up and be like, I'm just having my camera off tonight, or I've got the lights off and a candle, so it's just really dark and I'm curled up all I've got today. So you are genuinely, you're very much welcome to show up as you are, and it doesn't lessen the connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's because we take a time to kind of ground in, and it's powerful. And as you said, like it's a 5-month ritual, so and we're meeting weekly, so the rituals become very familiar, and they grow in, it's almost like they grow in power, or our ability to use them in that way. And so yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. I would not, that's not a hesitation for me anymore.
Yeah,
all.
and how good for, especially for mamas who have, who've got busy lives. I mean, not just mamas, but people who have really busy lives, have got children who they need to attend to and things like that, to just sort of still have this connection while at home. Kids have just gone to bed, you can just have this moment to yourself, that, to go out and to sit and go into a different location is not possible for a lot of women out there.
Yeah, thank you. I meant to say that, but I wouldn't have been able to do the journeys for sure. But at home, I can get the kids to bed, or if they're not going to bed, sometimes my kids are having huge meltdowns, and I need to be like, sorry, not sorry, because there are no sorries, but I'm going to go, and sometimes I get back, and sometimes I don't get back. Sometimes women sit there in the dark with their kids with their earphones in, just listening and connecting in that way. So yes, it makes it much more accessible in that way, for sure, especially when you've got little kids like I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I too. This is why I have to do it online, because I'm a single mum of 4. So it's I don't think I could do it otherwise, and this is the whole reason why this is happening right now, because that's the only way that could happen for me. Okay. Who is Yerishka Girl, or the dark goddess, for you? There's a lot of people that, there's a fear around the dark goddess. This we've been again programmed to fear that dark inner part of ourselves. Yeah, sorry. Who is the dark goddess to you in Yerishka Girl, Kat?
Apologies, bit of lag there. Yeah, there's a lot of rhetoric online about trying to get out of the darkness. And I understand the intention behind what they're saying, but I think that sometimes we get stuck in our head that our darkness is not somewhere that we should spend any time. We shouldn't want to go there. And what I'd like to say is that Ereshkigal for me is the same as Inanna, that she is a part of me. She is the part of me that is my anger and my grief and my deep sadness and my wounds. And again, she knows them in ways that perhaps I consciously don't know. And I guess having her as a representation of that makes those feel safer, because she is them, they are not me, even though I know that they're a part. But that it's like it provides a safe sanctuary for me to meet those face to face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the grief and the anger and the things that I don't have a space to, like something that I've been talking a lot about lately is, this anger. When do I have a place to come and be like, I'm really feeling angry about this? I have to contain it all day long. At what point do I get to kind of address it and say, I'm really angry about those things? And this journey allows me to intentionally be like, I'm angry, or I'm really sad about this thing happening in my life, or this thing that has happened in my life. And what am I trying to say? I guess that's just it, that it's a safe space where I get to come face to face with those parts of me that really meeting them face to face, learning to hold them as part of me, learning to release them weekly in ritual, in that held, loving sisterhood. Gosh, it's just so liberating. It's just like they're talking about these dark, heavy things, but all I want to be is like, yes, like it's just liberating. Just shake the old skins off you, the outdated parts of you. You've been carrying around this baggage, and you don't need it anymore. And yeah, it's just it's fucking awesome feeling. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that dark goddess aspect of ourselves is not pushing the darkness, not pushing the heavy density away, but actually putting light on it, and to say, well, let's look at this, let's tend to this, let's hold it and love it, and it's equally as welcome as the happy-go-lucky aspect of ourselves. But it's still here, and to acknowledge it, I think when we acknowledge those the pains and the soreness of ourselves and our soul, we can heal those aspects. We need to go down and to lift them up to see what they are. That's, to me, that's what the dark goddess represents. She's showing us, what do we need to let go of? What do we need to attend to that sits deep within ourselves? And we all, it's really interesting, this underworld process, and we've all gone through underworld process in our lives. We're all felt to the point that we are, at some stage in our life of this death and rebirth element. And this journey just does it so consciously and with such awareness and tenderness that we can move through it more easily. So the next time that we're in that position where we're feeling the grief rise up, we know we can move through it because we're given the tools to work through it and to allow it to move through quicker than we would otherwise would do it, instead of getting stuck there for, days, weeks, even years. Some people get stuck in that underworld process. But it's the part of learning and gathering the tools that we need to for next time, because it's inevitable. This is a part of the growth journey of being human. This is what we've come here to do. To go, oh, that's right, this is my loyal soldier that we speak of, and is this true now, and what do I need to alchemize it to move through it, and to learn from it, and then what seeds is that giving us, and what gold are we taking back up with us from that journey? And it really feels like, if you put it into the wheel of the earth, it's like that summer where everybody's so wanting us to be at, but actually that's not the whole picture. We also got to descend into autumn and sit in the darkness in the winter, which is where the dark goddess is. But she's also exposed to all the cosmos, and then come up again in spring, reborn and renewed, and to do the whole cycle again. So that inevitability of the cycle does continue and goes around and around. But to know that when we're given the tools and we've got our sisters behind us championing us on, next time we go around and do this underworld journey again, because we all will, we will know what to do. And if we don't, we've got our sisterhood behind us to say, hey, can you light a candle for me? Or does anybody know how to do this, or whatever, to support us? Yeah, it's so cool.
So well said. So well said. And I think, yeah, just that weekly ritual for me, I was definitely someone who spent a lot of my life, I would say, probably in the underworld, not knowing how to, not having the tools or the strategies to necessarily meet and heal and let go of those parts of me and heal them. And the weekly kind of ritual of it, like now, those are, I'm trying to think of the word, habit. Like my first conscious thoughts are those sorts of questions that you were saying. Is this my loyal soldier coming to try and keep me safe, or is this a Rishka girl? What's she bringing up for me to see? And certainly, I find I can move through things much more quickly now because of that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And not only for ourselves, but I find for my children so much more, like, with so much more groundedness, when they're having their underworld experience. And as we know, children go through that a lot. They lots of things are happening in their little lives, and they're just trying to work everything out. But to be able to hold that space, there's so much more anchoring into the world, and to make it feel safe and stable for them is such a gift to the children, and for those around us too, our partners, community members, just to know that there's a skill that's being developed here, in leadership, and also the ability to hold, which is, I feel, this really new paradigm thinking, and not, as you said earlier, not hierarchical, or I know better than you, or that spiritual bypassing. Yes, I'm the guru. That's so, it makes me feel sick even thinking, or talking about that. But it's a real holding or skill developing to be able to hold love and compassion for those who are also experiencing an underworld journey. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're practicing that together. We're all kind of on our training wheels, learning how to do that at our own paces in different ways. And some parts of our lives we're really good at that, and some parts of our lives we're, still learning how to do that. And but having gone through the journey twice now, I can wholeheartedly say that, yes, that has absolutely happened in my family and for my friends and in my family and for my community. And it's like the ripple is visible. The ripple effects are visible. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for your business as well, because that's what you do for other women as well, hold space for women who are developing courses and things like that. So that's a powerful process. So those skills that you've developed through the Invoking Inanna journey, that you are now carrying forth to be able to support, in your work.
100%. And the other thing is just being able to tap into my own creativity more fluidly. Like kind of like cleared out the parts of me that were fears, for example, and now I can ground in and tap into that creativity and flow much more readily. And that's wonderful, because that is also leadership and the ripple effect of love and service. So yeah, celebrating all of those things.
And it really, and it's we both of us talk, we've just finished the journey, so we've just come up from this ascent process, and it feels so shiny up when you finish the journey, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, everything looks golden and bright, and it feels like veils have been lifted in this part of the journey, isn't it? And then you just watch everything, the evidence of the journey that we've just had, it keeps showing up and keeps going, doesn't it? So it's not just the 5 months that we journey together. It just is a continuation of the magic that flows through us.
That's right. My dog was getting excited with that. His tail was wagging and tipping the phone. I apologize.
The dogs know, the animals know. That's I take that. Thank you.
They do. Hey, buddy.
So just to finish off, what would you say for those who are hearing the call and who are not sure?
Well, if you're here, you've heard the call. Contact Evonne, put your name down, go for it. Yeah, I have said to myself that I will do the journey probably once a year, like to turn up and do it again, and to finish a second time and want to do it again. I think is testament to the container, the solid container that you, Evonne and Ellie, create, and the greater Inanna journey, the greater Inanna community that holds you. And also another wonderful thing that's come out of it for me is that, new friendships. New friendships, because for a long time, I know a lot of us relate to this, that, we've heard this call and we felt like we're kind of drifting away from our friends, but who are we? Who are this new group of women or friends that we are yet to meet? And this journey has been the vehicle for that as well, right? So yes, if you've heard this, you've heard the nudge, follow your heart or your gut, wherever that inner nudge is pushing or pulling you from, and send Evonne a message right now. Do it. Do it.
And you might not be ready for this next journey, but we do 2 journeys a year, and each journey is different because of who shows up in the container, but also the power animal really influences the journey as well. So we've just finished a Kookaburra journey, which was all about how do we navigate this new paradigm, this new world, what is this now? And it was all about self-responsibility, which was very interesting, a bit of a kick up the pants for me personally. It was a really interesting journey. You know, a little while ago, I tried just to be like a Nishinabara on the edge while this journey was happening. No, you've got to go down as a space holder as well. So Ellie and I both do the journey as well with you. But the next journey is Mama Bear, and I was just having a bit of a read about Mama Bear, and it's like that the alchemy process. Like, it was just, you can't make this up. Alchemy process and trusting that we have the inner resources. This is so interesting. So Mama Bear just and how the cub is like born in in when the mother is like in a lucid state, but it's so safe and so warm when it's a little baby growing in it. That's how it nurses before it goes out in spring. So that feels lovely as well. So anyway, that's happening starting on the 17th of June, and it goes through to the 15th of October or something like that. So this is it's in the Southern Hemisphere. It's the emerging out from spring, and how appropriate that we're traveling with Mama Bear at this time. You can't make it up. Like, these animals come to us, they call to us, and it's so appropriate for whatever time. So that's happening, and who knows who's going to show up in the next journey at the start of next year, but we'll wait and see. But yes,
I was going to say, the other thing that we haven't really mentioned is that one of your superpowers is astrology, and you weave it through, you know, part of the weekly meet is that you give an astro update, and like what we're all going through matches what's going on above, and then there's this whole kind of map of the journey as well that matches so well. So that is another act. I mean, that's one of the wonderful parts of this journey, is that you give a greater context to, we're going through this very deep inner journey, but because you share the astrology that's going on in your way, then you're also tapped into the cosmos and the big things that are playing out as well. And so that gives another layer of like depth and meaning to it, for sure.
Absolutely. It's really especially what I got from this Kookaburra journey, and in the most profound way I haven't experienced before, is what's without is within, and just seeing that holographic, multi-dimensional reflection of experiencing our experiences from within, or what the Dark Goddess is showing us, and watching it unfold out and around us and in the cosmos. And it's just like, whoa, it was quite a trip to see that. And I feel like going into this Mama Bear journey, I take that with me. And yeah, it feels really profound, actually. And the astrology, it's just right from the day dot, right from the very first Inanna journey with the Snake Sisters, and watching, I think Venus was going into a retrograde, and we were journeying with Venus. This journey of the Kookaburra, we were doing Pluto. Like, we started off with Pluto. It was so wild to me, and we finished with a massive Pluto transit as well. So with this journey, actually, the start on the 17th is the most glorious astrology for the month of June. It's so lovely. It's like we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all sort of in alignment in Gemini. It's just feels. Oh no, actually, we have Venus and Mercury in Cancer, actually, the mother. That's right. Oh God, that's right. And it just feels like that moment of just like, oh, of course, Mama Bear, you know, this going into Cancerian season with Mama Bear, with Venus there, who is the star of Ishtar and Inanna, and Mercury there, the messenger, who is the messenger to the underworld. Like, you can't make it up. It's just so amazing. And again, that reflection of within is without is, you know, it's just so tangible, such wild, tangible magic that we get to experience on this Invoking Inanna journey.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kat, for your time today. I just am so grateful for your support and your love and your friendship and sisterhood in this journey. What a wild ride we're on. But thank you for showing up today, just sharing your experience of the Invoking Inanna journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, Evonne. And it's really hard to put into words all that I have gained from being in your spaces. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And for those who are listening and tuning in, we're also going to put this on YouTube. Hopefully it worked. If not, this will be also on Instagram, and I'll try and share it into the Temple of Inanna. And if you're wanting to know more about the Invoking Inanna journey, head over to the Temple of Inanna, which is the Instagram page, or you can go to my really old website that's needing updated, evonnewildheart.com.au. And also have a YouTube channel with a podcast called Temple Talk, and we'll turn this into a Temple Talk podcast. So thank you for joining us today with so much love. Thank you, Kat, and all the sisters who have journeyed with us. Just deep honor, and what a privilege it is to witness deep transformation. Thank you. Much love. Thanks, Kat.
Love. Bye.
Bye. How do you turn it off?
You turn it off.